struggle or suffering? Is there a difference, and how does it help? Hi, I'm Jen Joseph, here to release your confidence. Okay, so most of us, 90%, actually 99, just say all of us, we're all suffering in some way, shape, or form. All of us. No one escapes from struggle, suffering, or pain. Nobody, especially those who are really, really ambitious, they go through more struggle than anybody else. But then even the person who's opted to reject life and everything that society upholds, even they suffer and they struggle, but at a base level. Now, you have to ask yourself, especially if you're a leader or an influencer, what is the purpose of my struggling or my suffering or even my pain? As a leader or an influencer, people will tend to follow you if they find that there's something familiar about your story that's also part of their story. So, for example, if you were the person who was running the 200 meters and right at the last 5 meters, all of your energy was just expired and you were struggling towards the end, and they'd gone through the same thing, those people are going to be on your side. They're going to be aligning themselves to you. So your suffering on that point is giving them a point of alignment. But has it helped you in any way? Then there's the issue of struggling. Why do we struggle? And I don't know if you'll find too many positive people or ambitious people who will go along with you if you're struggling, because struggling is about a conflict of ideologies. You know, you've got one ideology that says go this way, another one that says go that way, and you're not making the choice. And maybe you will get people who follow you, particularly those individuals who enjoy having a pity party. They love to see other people struggle and say, me too. And then there's the issue of pain. Pain will generally occur when we're willful, when we are so determined we're going to do it our way. We're not going to take advice from anybody. We're going to press on. So when we've got to the top of that mountain and we've planted the flag, we can say, I did this all on my own. But you could have had somebody along who could have been an anchor point to help you to go up to the next level when it was a steep and heavy endurance exercise. Well, we all have that in us. We all have that. And we think it's resilience. But we all have that desire to go it alone, to be the one. When we get to the top, we say, yes, I did it. That isn't resilience at all. Suffering is something we've all got to go through. Yeah. Why? Because actually, every experience we have teaches us about our character, our personal character, the strength and the weaknesses that we have. And from that, we can determine whether we like that weak side of ourselves or we like that strong side of ourselves, and which one we're going to promote or indulge in. That's the point of suffering, to expose what's going on internally, to determine its value, and then determine the progress we're going to make in life. Now, here's the thing. When you suffer and then decide to take the lesson out of the suffering, that event and those experiences now dissipate. You don't have to go through them again because you've taken the lesson from them and you've learned something new about yourself. You've strengthened your character. You've matured a little bit more, and you can move on to the next stage of life. When you're struggling, however, you are moving in two paradigms for one objective. and not making a choice. So now, as it says in scripture, you're like a frothing wave. So when you hit the shore, you just you're formless. You have no shape, you have no structure, you have no solidarity. There is nothing in you that is beautiful because you've been pulling yourself apart. Now, the unfortunate thing about pulling ourselves apart is this. We then turn around and we say, it's everybody else's fault. We don't take responsibility. Now, I know what I'm saying sounds like it's all over the place, but it's not. Seriously, it is not. It's about struggle, suffering, and pain. We need to give up the idea of struggling, and we need to be able to recognize when we're holding two paradigms for one objective, and to make a solid decision of which way we're going to go. Now, when we're suffering, it's because we've recognized our goal. It is because we are aiming towards our goal. Our target is clear and we're still moving in the correct direction towards our target. But there are hurdles, there are obstacles, there are barriers that have to be overcome. That's the suffering part. So at the first time you meet a hurdle, you may not be able to jump it. When you see the Olympics and you see those Olympiads, are they not amazing when they jump in those 5 feet hurdles? You just see them up, up. But you, a starter, can't do a 5-foot hurdle. Maybe you can do a 2-foot hurdle, but instead in front of you is a 3-foot hurdle. So then you have to train yourself to get to the point where you can get that extra lift. And there is some suffering in that. You have got to go through the discipline to get to that point. So what I should have said earlier is that with suffering comes discipline. But also with suffering, keeping your eyes on the objective, the long-term goal, is key to obtaining that ambition. And maturity, because you will never have to go through that learning process again. You'll be jumping hurdles, yes, but the hurdles you now jump with ease. There'll be barriers that you have to overcome, yes, but overcoming those barriers can be done so with ease because you already know the tenor of your strength, your ability, and after your assessment of that barrier, that hurdle, if you know that you can't jump it, you have the discipline in place to develop the strength and agility and flexibility you need to move through. So then you become more resilient, you're able to bounce back, and you're able to achieve your goals and become very successful. Very successful. And the pain, you really, really do need to just throw that away. Pain is also accompanied by not only a lack of taking responsibility or even indulging in the pity parties, it's also very much a poor me one attitude. Nobody likes to be involved with people who operate from this particular principle because it tends to be a very manipulative principle that tries to influence people from an emotional position, pulling on their caring style. But you soon, very, very soon, wear out your welcome, wear out your friendship. So one of the things I would say is put that aside. Now, how do you know which of these 3 stages, struggle, suffering, or pain, you're going through? You can find somebody that you can work with, somebody who preferably has already walked the walk and has evidence to prove that they've walked the walk. You're going to go a long way in your decision-making progress. And for the majority of us, when we are struggling to make progress, when we are struggling to realize our ambition, it can be because of this issue of struggling. Well, I would suggest that you begin now to record, reflect on events that you've gone through that were painful, that left a scar, that left a feeling of embarrassment or an element of shame. Now, believe it or not, when you do encounter embarrassment or shame, it's because you haven't learned to read the emotion that's been involved in the actual exercise. But don't worry about that just as yet. Just go through the exercise to find out, how did I respond when this event occurred? How did I respond when I had this series of experiences? And an event is a one-off occasion, but experiences are things that tend to repeat time and time again, and they either get more and more difficult or they get easier as you take the lesson out of them. So that's how you know the difference. Okay, well, I hope this has been useful for you to establish whether you have been suffering, whether you have been struggling, or whether you're experiencing pain. This is Jen Joseph, here to release your confidence. Bye for now.